So the first topic is going to be Biden pardoning Hunter. So if we go ahead and show this on the screen right now, we will see that right now we have the official statement from President Biden wanting to pardon his son, which he ended up doing on December 1st. So here's the official statement from the president. He said, statement from President Joe Biden. Today, I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision making, and I kept my word, even as I watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Without aggravating factors like use in crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were paying late on their taxes because of serious addictions, but paid them back man, I can't speak today. But basically, those who paid them back with interest and penalties are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. The charges in his cases came about only several days after, or came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Then a carefully negotiated plea deal agreed by the Department of Justice unraveled in the courtroom, with a number of my political opponents in Congress taking credit for bringing political pressure on the process. Had the plea deal held, it would have been a fair, reasonable resolution of Hunter's case. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's case can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he's my son, and that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough. For my entire career, I have followed a simple principle: just tell the American people the truth. They'll be fair-minded. Here's the truth. I believe in the justice system, but I also have wrestled with this. I also believe that raw politics has infected this process, and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president will come to this decision. And so that's the statement. And we kind of actually have a clip here that's pretty long, but it basically goes through with something that I kind of want to discuss about, because this is really interesting, guys. Really, really interesting stuff here, because Donald Trump has been politically prosecuted this entire time. He's been politically prosecuted the whole time in this case that he's had with the New York courts, in Georgia. He's had them at the federal level. He's been politically prosecuted selectively, and Biden didn't have anything to say about that. But now when it's Hunter, of course, he has something to say now. But here's the problem. This is the really, really big issue on the matter. The problem is he told the American people for months that he wouldn't pardon Hunter under any circumstances. And now you have a bunch of Democrats who are using this as a wedge to have the moral high ground on the Trump cases. And now they look like a bunch of idiots. So we're going to be playing the clip of all the media basically saying that Joe Biden wasn't going to pardon Hunter, which we all believed wasn't going to be the case.
The presidential promise to put the law before family.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
Was asked directly, and he has said he wouldn't pardon his son if he gets convicted.
Let's wait and see what happens if he loses.
Yeah, but he said it.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son.
So the challenge for him is really to continue to live up to his values when it was really personal. And he did that today.
It seems like a pretty normal, straightforward answer, but it takes new weight when we see what Trump is saying about the outcome of his trial, what we're hearing from other Republicans who say they don't accept the jury's verdict here in New York.
The contrast is profound. To sit there and say, well, I'm not going to intervene in the legal process and I wouldn't pardon my son. One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
Our current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean, what
again, it's all about the contrast.
President Biden saying, I will respect whatever this jury decides, versus
right.
Donald Trump after he was
man, this is
convicted on
hilarious.
34 counts, saying the entire system is rigged against him.
Their latest attack has been the
It's like they actually believed him. That's the crazy. Either they're pretending here or they actually believed him. They fully, some of them fully, wholeheartedly believed him, which is crazy because I would have never believed him. I don't care who you are. I would have never believed him. What? Come on. Really?
Joe Biden has politicized and weaponized the DOJ, right? That was the whole argument around Donald Trump's conviction. And this week, of course, Hunter Biden was found guilty. And Joe Biden has very clearly said he would not pardon his son. He would not commute his sentence. How stark is this difference? I mean, how can Republicans keep making this argument now that Joe Biden has really put it out there?
This is really sad because you know what would have happened? This is what the plan was. Trump would have been locked up in jail. They would have nominated Nikki Haley. Biden would have easily beat Nikki Haley. And Biden would have been like, oh, see, there's no reason to pardon my son. You see, the justice system work as planned. Literally. That's literally what would have happened. And he would have pardoned him in the second term. He would have just pardoned him in the second term. That's what was going to happen, which is so sad. That's literally what was going to happen. That is so sad. That is so sad. And this happened right after Kash Patel became the nominee for FBI director. By the way, this happened the day after Trump announced it, which is hilarious. And now that Biden did this, now Trump has the excuse to pardon all January 6th defendants, which is something that has been pretty controversial, but I've kind of stated my position on this. And if I haven't stated it on the record here, I'm going to say it that all January 6th defendants must be pardoned so that Trump is not prosecuting his own political prisoners, which people may say, oh, but what if somebody committed a violent crime? What if somebody did this or that? And it's like, there are people like in the BLM riots, Antifa, who did way worse and got off with nothing, got off on bail. They got off completely. And they've done much worse things. There is probably like 3 or 4 people who may have pushed somebody. The only person who died was Ashley Babbitt. That's the only person who passed away. The only person that was hurt, which was a Trump supporter who was peacefully protesting. So no police officer was hurt. In fact, they let everybody in. So the fact that now that Biden did this, it's going to make it a lot easier for Trump to go ahead and carry out his steps. So let's keep going here.
Where's Hunter? And he stood there in the courtroom, flanked by his family, and he's accepted his sentence.
He is not pardoning his son, which he could do. These are federal charges. Right. He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country. Yeah. And it is, I mean, if you want to know if he believes it, you could actually see what is happening with his own son.
The president, Anderson, has been really clear that he is going to accept the outcome of the trial no matter what happens.
So Joe Biden's gotten asked about, talking about law and order. He's gotten asked if he would pardon his son. He has said no. On the other side, you've got Donald Trump, who has said that he will pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. Yeah. They're not even his sons. They're just sons of bitches.
Washington said, I am not running again because he understood.
Oh, man, this is so funny, dude. But guys, you get the point, right? Like, this is the whole point. The whole point is that the media lied about it. Biden lied to everybody's faces saying he wasn't going to pardon Hunter. And then now they're pretending like, oh, actually, the circumstances are different. David Pacman, Kyle Kalinske, Brian Tiracola, all these people, Harry Sisson, they're all like, oh, yeah, perfectly fine. Brooklyn Dad, that guy on X, everybody, no, it's fine. He can pardon whoever he wants. No one's above the law. Joe Biden was actually community noted. He got community noted, which was hilarious, on his post saying no one is above the law on May 31st or the 30th. I'm not sure what day it was. But yeah, so Biden said no one was above the law, but except for his son, apparently.